Once you have done this a couple of times, the browser would automatically pick it up. Now, assuming that whoever is on the in the hands-on session, whoever is following suit, assuming that you have accessed our portal, this is what you will be welcomed with. That is a welcome screen of the Yojana portal, where we talk about what the MIS is and what Yojana is. Now, without any further ado, let's log in. We are going to log in to continue. Now, this is the login page, the member login page of the Yojana portal, which remains largely unchanged from the previous years. In order for you to access the portal, you would need your username, your password, and of course, you need to enter the CAPTCHA. Now, 2 days ago, we have from the side of head PMD's email shared an updated list of all the users of your respective constant unit with you. So we have shared a Google Sheet with you, which has every single faculty member, every single relevant officers who are already registered in the Yojana portal. Along with the email, we have also attached a Google Forms link. Now, let's assume that you cannot find your name in the Google Sheets. It probably means that you are either a new faculty or a newly transferred faculty, and then you do not have an account in the portal yet. Please don't worry. In order to rectify that, we have shared a Google Form link in the email. Also, we're sharing the same Google Form link in the chat box as well. Whoever hasn't gotten an account in the Yojana portal yet, kindly fill the Google form and we will absolutely create an account for you, and then we will communicate it directly from our end. Now let's assume that you have access to your usernames. Now comes the main problem. Many a times we tend to forget our passwords. Username, forgot password option. I'm just going to click it right now. So once I click on it, I'll be redirected to an account recovery page. So if you can see, I have two options here. One is forgot username and the second is forgot password. I will guide you through either of these scenarios. First is forgot password username. It's asking for my email ID. So I am just going to input my email ID. Now, please note, I have used a @gmail.com email ID right now, but this is only because it is an internal email ID that the Yojana team uses for our own testing purposes. In your account, from your end, I would request you to use your .nic or .gov official email ID. So I am just going to send a recovery email. Once I have sent a recovery email, a prompt shows an email has been sent with your username. Yes, Dr. Albert Horo, we will take note of that. And then I would please request you to kindly fill the Google form with your updated credentials. We have also taken note of it from our end, and then we will absolutely change it to Niri. Thank you so much. All right. So an email has been sent with your username. So I'm just going to go to my mail. As you can see, the very first email is from the Yojana MIS portal. And it says username is admin_PMD. Please note that the username is automatically assigned to you by the portal. You will not be able to change it. You will only be able to recover it in case you've forgotten it. Now I have my ID right now. So I'm just going to go back to the portal again. Now I have access to my ID. However, I do not remember my password anymore. So instead of contacting us directly or going through all the hoops, you may do it directly from your end. by making use of the forgot password option. Once again, the process remains the same. I input my email ID and then I send a recovery email. Now, I would like to draw everyone's attention to a small technicality. As you can see, it is taking some time. However, since we are using Gmail from our end for our internal purposes, the mail comes a bit faster. However, when you try it from your end, it might take a few minutes, let's say 5 to 10 minutes for the link to come, for the recovery email to come. That is because as you regular users of the NIC email, you might be aware of the fact that when you're using the email, there is a slight input delay while receiving the inbox messages. Please don't worry. Just click on the forgot password link once and please wait for 5 to 10 minutes and you will absolutely get a link before that. Now, I hope that at least a few of you are trying to recover your password, recover your user IDs as we speak. And I am just going to wait till I get my recovery email. So as you can see, I have finally gotten my recovery email. I click on it. Then once again, it says your username is admin_PMD and I can reset my password. So I can just enter a new password. I'm just going to confirm my password. And then I have updated. Now, before we proceed, keeping in mind of faculties who are trying to do it along the way, I am just going to take a couple of minutes pause so that you can follow suit. In the meantime, if you have any specific questions regarding access, please feel free to ask.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir.
Please see the chat box. One query is there.
Yes, sir.
Dr. Albert Horo.
It's already been answered, sir. Please check.
Okay.
I have reset my password, but still I'm not.
Ma'am, can you repeat that, please?
This is Prachi. I have
Yes, ma'am.
reset my password, but
Mhm.
again I am not able to log in. I am getting the message that incorrect username or password. And I have saved my password. I mean, I'm not putting the wrong password, I'm sure, but I'm still not able to access my Yojana account.
Ma'am, when did you last try resetting your password?
Just now, I was trying to, and when I try to reset again just now, my government email ID is also not being accessed. It's showing some kind of security error.
Yes, ma'am. So I believe what you're referring to is the fact that when you're trying to click on the link, the browser is probably giving you a prompt saying it's not secure, right?
No, I have been able to access often. I mean, I was just now working on e-office also, but the email I'm not, the government email I'm not able to access presently right now.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, so you're telling me that you can't access your GOV email, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Ma'am, that's probably some sort of technical issue from their end. I would please request you to wait. It's not from the Yojana side. I would please request you to wait. Yes. So are there any other questions regarding access, any difficulties accessing? If not, with your permission, I would go back to the login. All right. Now that I have recovered my password, now that I know my user ID, the next step is to, of course, log in. For the sake of this demonstration, I have made use of Professor Ashita Ravindran's ID, and I am just going to log in with her ID. For those with access to your portal, that is for those who know your username and password, and with an access to a computer right in front of you, kindly try to log in along with me so that you'll have a first-hand experience on the specificities of the portal. I'm just going to log in. I am going to log in. So here comes the actual portal. And once you log in, you will be met with a dashboard of such kind. Now, as you can see, I have some very basic details such as the number of projects. So every single project mapped under Professor Ashita Ravindran is mentioned here. The total number of ACRs, out of which how many are completed, how many are pending, and what is the total budget utilized. And there is a breakdown of the budget. What is the total allocated budget? What is the utilized budget? And how much is remaining? Now, I'd like to draw everyone's attention to the fact that this is real time. That is, every time you input an amount, a detail, it will be reflected directly. Now, we believe that this is beneficial both from an administrative perspective, but also on a very individual level. Being coordinators, being faculty members, of course, you handle a great many projects and activities together. And then many a times you might not be able to keep track of the budget and now once the portal is updated properly, once the ACRs about which I'll be talking in a bit, once they are filled properly, at any given point, you will be able to see what is the status of your projects, what is the budget, how much is allocated, how much is remaining, so that you can plan the rest of your year and session and activities accordingly. Now, before I talk about the home programs and report tabs, I would like to talk about the profile tab. In the portal, there is a profile tab where I can edit my profile. Let's assume that your designation has changed, you've gotten a promotion, you have a typo in your name, perhaps a spelling mistake, or you want to change the password. You may do all of that using the profile edit option in your homepage. And then, of course, you click on the submit button. Right. Now, if I have your permission, I'd like to go right ahead with the ACR completion. That is the activity completion report. Now, as Professor Srivastava said, as Professor Indu Kumar said, the primary purpose of the portal has always been to ensure a greater level of transparency and to ensure the budgeting is done properly. The finances are visible to us. At any given point, we'll be able to see how much, the administrators will be able to see how much money has been spent, how much is remaining. For that, we have something called the activity completion report. Now, being coordinators, your primary responsibility with regards to the portal would be to fill the ACR. So I'm just going to go to the report tab and I am going to click on the activity completion report. As you can see, I have a list of current projects. Now, please do not be confused. The 16.01, 03, and 04 are the actual programs mapped under Professor Ashita Ravindran, and all that is remaining, we have just added so that I can show you a demonstration. So once you log in, you will be met with every single program which were mapped to your name in your portal. Now, before I start filling this, I would like to remind you there might be two cases. One is that sometimes when you try to log in, you will find that it is absolutely blank. There is not a single program registered. Please do not worry. It probably is because of the fact that your account probably must have been new. And while the time of program registration, which was done by PMD, your account must not have existed back then. So please don't worry. Once we have a list of all the faculty members and APCs and SOs and relevant people from your institute, we will be able to map it better. Now, the second scenario might be that you might log in and then you might see a lot of programs. Let's say that you only have actually 2 programs, but you might be seeing 10 different programs, which has no relation to you whatsoever. Once again, please do not worry. The reason is probably that for those programs whose coordinators don't have an account in the Yojana portal yet, what we did during registration was that we have mapped them to either the head of the department or any senior faculty member in the department. So once again, once all of the faculty members fill the Google form given, we will be updating the list entirely. Now, I was talking about ACRs. So once I log in and once I go to report and click on activity completion report, I will see all of the programs mapped under me. Now you will only be able to see the programs mapped under you, the only exception being the account of the APC or the section officer or the person handling the accounts. So in that case, let's hypothetically say, take the example of an APC. The APC, the section officer, or the person handling your finances, that particular account will have access to every single program of your institute, so that as and when the budget comes, they'll be able to fill it. So without any delays, I am going to fill the ACR of this particular project titled Test Program 3. I would please request whomsoever is following along to choose the program that you're concerned with and start filling the ACR. So once I click on the particular project whose ACR I want to fill, I will be met with an activity completion report of test program, or whatever the name is, page. This page will show you every single activity that you have proposed in the PSC agenda. All of the details of the name of the activity has already been pre-filled. We have already filled that from the PSC agenda. So for the sake of this demo, I am going to fill the test activity number 1. The date of completion is 14th August 26. It says ACR not filled, and I am just going to click on fill. Now I hope that whoever is following the instructions, this page is visible to you. If you have any trouble accessing this page, please feel free to share. Once you open the ACR, you will be met with a brief program related report. That is the name of your division or the institute, title of the program and the title of the activity, and the program category. Now there will be a PSC code number. I would please request you to ignore this, because the PSC code number is an internal system generated serial number, which has absolutely no connection to your project whatsoever. Now we come back and we can see the two main tabs in the ACR: the activity details and the budget details. For our early users of Yojana, you might remember a time, probably a year and a half ago, when activity details and budget details came under the same tab. Now, realizing that timelines may vary, we have decided to segregate into two different independent tabs. The logic behind, the rationale behind this very conscious choice is the fact that sometimes you might undertake a specific activity, and let's say that I have undertaken an activity yesterday. I had a workshop yesterday and it winded up today. So the activity is over. However, the finance details of it, let's say the total honorarium, the total TA, the total DA, and the contingency fund, the entire expenditure, it probably hasn't come yet. It probably takes 2 weeks, it probably takes a month, it probably takes 2. So being faculty members, your primary concern would be to fill the activity details, whereas the APC, the section officer, or whomsoever is handling finances in your institute will fill the budget details as and when it comes. Now, I'm just going to walk you through how to fill this activity details. It asks for a target group. I'm just going to put test here. Venue of the activity, I'm going to put CIET. And then there is a date picker to choose duration. So like I said, yesterday was my activity and it lasted till today. I have selected the duration. And there's a section that that asks whether the program is exclusively for SC/ST women group. Now there is a drop down. So it has options like SC/ST, minorities, special needs, transgender, uh, children out of school, children, school dropouts, children with disabilities. If your particular activity is primarily focused on any one of these target groups, please feel free to select. However, if it is a general program, please select general or all groups are not applicable. So for the sake of this demonstration, I am just going to choose children out of school. Now, objective of the activity, I'm just going to put test here, brief report of the activity. Now, before I proceed, one important thing you should keep in mind about the portal is that all of the columns are mandatory. So if I try to save it right now, as you can see, I will not be able to save it. Now, let's assume that certain columns are not relevant to you. That is venue of the activity. Perhaps your activity does not have a venue. Perhaps you don't have any, you did not face any difficulties. In that case, instead of leaving it blank, I will probably write NA, not applicable, nil, something. The idea is to not leave any columns blank. So outcome realized, I'm just going to put test, I'm going to put test, I'm going to put test in all the areas. Now, before I click on save and explain what it does, I am once again going to take a pause so that whomsoever is filling the ACR along with me may do that without any delay. If you notice, there is do we have any questions?
Hello, Fleming sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I have one query over here.
Yes, sir.
The query is when we click report,
Mhm.
we are getting monthly report, activity completion report, but
Yes, sir.
I didn't see that financial ending report.
Yes, sir. Actually,
that-
you will
yeah.
not be able to see that. So the reason why you can see a financial ending report here is because it is Professor Ashita Ravindran's account. And then in PMD, since we have been a part of the portal since the development, we have
Right.
certain features that you can't access right now. But you
Right,
can
right.
only see monthly report and activity completion report.
Right, right. So that is not the problem, right?
Yes, no, that's not an issue at all.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes. So I am going to go ahead with the save option.
Fleming, can I
Yes,
come
ma'am.
in, please?
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, because usually it takes some time for from the account section to finalize on the budget utilized.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
what do we do? Should we wait till that is completed?
Yes, ma'am.
Or can we just start filling it up and then come back again once we
all right.
get from the account section?
Yes, ma'am. So that is an absolutely good question. Ma'am, that is exactly why we have separated the activity details and budget
Acha,
details.
acha. Okay, okay. All right,
So,
got it.
so let's
Yeah.
say that you have undertaken activity right now, and
Uh-huh,
it takes around 2 months for the budget to clear. Feel
uh-huh.
free to come back even after 2 months to fill the details.
Okay,
So the idea is to not put an estimated figure. The idea is to put the exact figures so
good.
that
Yeah,
we can have better at tracking.
yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So yes, so right now, as you can see, there is no option to submit. We have something called save. So I'm just going to save it. And I am once again going to navigate to my program. If I could have everyone's attention to the screen, it says on the first activity, it says preliminary ACR submitted. Now, what is preliminary ACR? Now, as questions have come, sometimes the the budget section, it comes pretty late. So our priority is to ensure that neither of these delays, neither of this information will interfere with each other much. Activity is completed right now, you can absolutely feel free to proceed filling the ACR. And let's say that in a couple of days, you have another activity. Please fill the activity details of that activity as well. And then if in a week you have another activity, you can just fill the activity as well. So keep the preliminary ACRs filled. And when the budget clears, even after a few weeks, you can just come back to the portal and revisit it. So right now in this activity, I have finished my activity details and it says preliminary ACR submitted. So let's say that 2 weeks have passed, perhaps a month has passed. I have gotten all the budget details. So I will go back to this portal again and I will try to fill the monthly report once again. If you can see, when the status shows preliminary ACR submitted, I can still edit it. So I'm going to change the venue right now. I'm going to change it to needy. I can absolutely do that. Now I go to my budget details. Now the budget details also follows a very similar logic. That is, all of the sections are mandatory. Now assume that certain sections are not applicable to you. In that, let's say that you have an in-house workshop which did not incur any sort of expenditure whatsoever. In such cases, you can just put 0. Feel free to put 0 in any relevant columns. However, without putting 0, you will not be able to submit because once again, all the fields are mandatory. Now I am just going to fill it. Sanction number. I'm just going to fill a random sanction number. Now, I assure you the sanction number will be specifically written in the sanction order that you get. So if you contact the office, you will absolutely get this number. And then it asks for a budget sanction date. I am also going to put a random date here and budget amount sanction. So I'm just going to put 3 lakhs here. Now, for people who are following along, you can see that the amount utilized tab is uneditable. I can't do anything there. I can't put any amount there. That is also by design because the amount utilized tab gets auto-calculated from the data that we input below. So do not worry. You will absolutely need not worry about this. It will be automatically calculated. Now comes the participants category. Now comes the actual expense category. Now I have explained this in the other sessions as well. That is, when we use the word participants here all across the council, we have different terminology for different people. We have external resource persons, we have participants, we have trainers, we have experts, and things like that, words like that. However, from the Yojana portal's perspective, participants just mean any and every person who had drawn a TA, DA, or an honorarium. I repeat, participants are any and every individual who has drawn a TA, DA, or an honorarium. Now, based on that, we have divided it into local and non-local. Because, of course, as you might be aware, the local TA is different, the non-local TA is different, and the specificities vary depending on their nature, the job location. So I am just going to put 10 local people, participants. And let's say that these 10 local participants incurred a TADA of probably 50,000. As you can see, the amount is automatically calculated right now. And then comes the honorarium. Let's say that it's a 20,000 honorarium. As you can see, it is also automatically calculated. Once again, let's assume that there are no non-local participants. Since every field is mandatory, please feel free to put 0, 0, 0, and then obviously it's 0. Now comes the external and internal resource persons. These are any and every individual who did not draw any sort of compensation in any form. So as you can see, even when I'm putting 100 and 100 here, it is not being reflected here. It is because these are just numbers. Now coming back to the contingency. As you might be aware, as you are aware, every time we give a sanction order, we have certain provisions for contingency, certain money spent for stationery, photocopying, and activities such as such as that. You can use any of those activities ka fund. You can tag them under the contingency. So I'm just going to put 2000 ka contingency. So as you can see, it is also reflected automatically here. Now comes the other expenses part. So the idea of other expense part is to accommodate any other expense of any other kind, which we might not have mentioned here. So the straightforward logic is that any expense which is not a TA, DA, or an honorarium or does not fall under contingency will go here. It might be a working lunch, it might be something else. You might have a better knowledge of that. Any other expenses could go under the total expenses, total other expenses. I'm just going to put 5,000. Once again, it has been automatically calculated. Are there any questions regarding the budget section?
Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can.
Yeah, I'm just thinking,
Mhm.
is there a possibility for the budget details? If this
Mhm.
can be forwarded from our user ID, right, to the account section of the institute?
Ma'am, yes, ma'am. So I can talk about how it happens in the NIE departments. It happens in every department. We either have the APC or the SO. So what happens is that we have a separate kind of ID for the APC and SO. And in that way, they will be able to see every single program of the entire department, and they could fill for every single
Yes,
programs.
yes.
So if NIRI has a similar designation, then please send us an email along with their credentials. We will create a similar ID for them as well, so that
Okay.
whomsoever is
Alright.
handling the accounts, they'll be able to fill it.
Just give us some time. I'll just
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
think about this.
Yes,
But then surely, yes.
sorry, we also invited, written in our letter to be present along with the respective SOs and APC, so that they also get oriented to using the Yojana portal.
Yes, ma'am.
So if they are not there, so maybe the nodal person, Mr. Arnav, can orient them,
Yeah.
and they can start using the portal. Thank
Yes,
you.
ma'am, because here in Navy, we do not have an APC. Okay.
Okay.
So let me just think of a way, because this will definitely help also the account section of the institute.
But you have AO, you have accounts
Yeah,
officer,
yeah,
you
we
have.
have.
Not
We
account.
have a senior accountant.
Okay, so
Are
not
you
an
willing
issue.
to
Not
join?
an issue. He can get those credentials to use that, to
Alright.
fill that part.
Yes, okay.
In that case, the coordinators are not required to fill this forms, budget form. The
The budget will be filled by either by AO if you have accounts officer, or some account, whosoever is responsible for looking after the budget aspect.
Yes.
So you need to submit the activity completion,
Yes.
as Fleming has already mentioned that preliminary completion of activity will come to your account, and once the budget is filled, the activity will be, the submission will be completed. Yes.
So in that case, ma'am, from the coordinator's account, this budget form will show or will not show? I mean, if you are creating another account and this can be filled by the accountant.
The budget can be seen by the coordinator as well, I think.
Yes,
What do
yes,
you
ma'am.
say,
Yes,
Fleming?
ma'am.
It
Yes,
will
ma'am,
be
they
seen
can.
to them.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Both can fill, no?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Another
Yes.
one in the budget, what is the provision for like lunch, tea, snacks and all this? Is there?
There are no separate columns. If it is classified under contingencies, then you can put it in the contingency tab, or you can put it in the total other expenses tab.
Okay.
Yes. So I hope that answers some of your preliminary questions. Before I proceed, I would like to draw your attention to one quick technicality. Now, if you can see, there is a total non-local local segregation. Now, when you're filling, sometimes you will not have access to the exact breakup of the local and non-local participants. You might be only getting a consolidated amount. You might get from your accounts office saying that for your particular activity, an amount of 2 lakhs has been incurred, and then that is it. You might not really know what is the TA of the local participants, what is the honorarium, what is the specifics. In those cases, please do not worry. As we have explained in the beginning, the primary purpose of the portal is budget tracking. So let's say that if 2 lakhs is the total expense that was incurred, and you don't know the breakup of this, please feel free to enter an amount like this here. As you can see, the total is still 2 lakhs. So from the portal's perspective, in our total dashboard, the amount is only showing 2 lakhs. Now, of course, amount being accurate is our primary responsibility. If we know the specifics of how many local people came and what were their TA and what were their honorarium, it is excellent. But in certain cases, in rare cases where the budget is coming as a consolidated single amount, you can also use this function. You can put it as a consolidated number. Now, once all of that is done, I go and submit. Now, if I scroll past, I can see that ACR is submitted. So my ACR is submitted. I try to fill it again, and you can see that it is not editable. Both the columns are not editable. So it would be my sincere request to everyone, while filling the your ACR, kindly do it with utmost accuracy, because once submitted, it will not be editable. However, in the rarest of the rare cases, because of certain unforeseen circumstances and contingencies, if an error has been made, please write to us in the email ID given below, and rest assured we will contact you and we will guide you through rectifying the error. Now, before I proceed, I would like to tell you two things. First of all, once again, for the old users of Yojana portal, you might remember a time when you might be filling it, and then all of a sudden the portal is just closing up. I believe that I have gotten a lot of similar queries from Niri last year, that you will be filling it, and then when you click on the submit button, it automatically closes. Now, I would like to reassure you that it is not happening for any other reason. The reason is that for security purposes, we have session times. That is, once I open the Yojana portal, I can only leave the portal open, unmanned, unhandled for a period of 15 to 20 minutes. In simpler terms, if you open the portal and then if you leave it for 15 minutes unattended, the portal will automatically, for security purposes, close itself. Now, it would be my recommendation, while you're filling it, instead of doing it manually, instead of typing manually in the portal, I would recommend you to first input all the relevant details in a separate Word format, so that whenever you want to fill the actual ACR, you can just open both simultaneously and copy paste it, so that you can save a lot of time and efforts. I hope that is clear. Now coming to a second point, which I feel is very important, which a query that I've been getting a lot as well. So I'm just going to go see all my activities. Now, as you can see, all of my activities are scheduled for August. And one activity was scheduled for today. So I have completed it. Now let's assume that sometimes for certain coordinators, your very first activity hasn't happened yet. Your very first activity probably only takes place in November. In that case, please feel free to skip till November. The idea of an ACR is to complete an activity and then file a report. If you haven't undertaken any activity in the period, then you need not fill any ACR. Now I understand that it shows ACR not filled in bright red letters, but please don't worry. Once again, since your activity hasn't taken place, you need not fill it. I hope that answers some of the questions in your mind.
If it is delayed, I mean, if it is not within the scheduled date, in that case, it will be open now for filling up the activity.
No, sir. You can just start filling it from the date of the inception or the end of the activity. If a certain activity is delayed, it's fine. When the activity is actually undertaken, you need to only fill it. Tab. Hope that answers your question, sir. Now, another important detail. So right now, this is my test program. This is the name of my project, and under which I have 3 different activities. Now, I would like to tell you, now let's say that I want to conduct more activities. Let's say that I have 2 more workshops that are not listed here. Now, of course, the activities listed in your portal come straightly from the PSC agenda, but let's assume that in certain cases, you want to conduct more activities, more workshops, more field visits, more activity of any kind. Now, assuming that the said extra activities are approved by the competent authority, being coordinators, you always have the liberty to add them yourself. Now, how do I do that? So right now we use the report section and activity completion section. However, in order to add more activities, I go to program, I view my program. So as I was explaining, if the portal is kept open for a prolonged period of time, let's say 15 minutes, it will automatically close itself. I'm just going to log in again. So I've logged in again. So as I was saying, how do you add more activities? I go to the program section. I view my program, and here I can see a list of all the programs. I navigate and go to my program, and I have all the basic information of my program. Now, once again, all the basic information of your particular program has already been pre-filled by PMD. You can just scroll down and you may add more activities using the Add Activity tab. Let's say that I have a workshop. I'm going to name it workshop number 1. I am just going to give a tentative date of completion. And my next would be workshop number 2, which will happen next month. Yes, I'm sorry. Can you clarify that question, please? In what way? Can you please unmute
But
yourself? And
sometimes the file it goes like before we start the program, we request for approval to sanction the money for that particular activity. So in between, like the sanction after approval, the sanction and all that in that sanction order form, sometimes because of so many activities, we don't have the file with us to enter the details. So if the account section, who's ever handling the accounts, can enter the sanction details in our PACs, like through a user.
Actually, ma'am.
May I?
Yes, ma'am.
Actually, the sanction order is shared with the program coordinator as well. One copy is sent to each. The AO also gets one copy is given to the program coordinator. Generally, it happens. So the copy of sanction is also with the program coordinator.
Yeah, because sometimes it's not with the coordinator. We have only one sanction order form. So I think it remains in the file, but sometimes the file is like stuck in accounts or somewhere, in the process. So it's challenging sometimes. We have faced last year, especially in my program, some of the sanction order, which was of the second activity, became the sanction order of the first activity. These things have happened. in my program.
Yeah.
That's the reason.
May I come in? May I come in?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, madam, this might have happened, as you are saying, in the last year.
Yes.
I know one thing, that any program coordinator for any file movement, for bill for adjustment, or for any small amount, big amount for adjustment, it moves with the sanction order only.
Yes.
So this uh, sanction order can be procured from accounts or somewhere. What issue you are saying is specifically giving an example that can also be handled with the intervention of principal or other head of the department or whosoever. But I cannot say that in block the responsibility should move to the accounts.
Okay.
In tandem we can do, but program coordinator must be aware about the sanction order, because he or she has to make adjustment of all bills and see to it that the TA, DA or honorarium of the persons, resource persons whom the program coordinator invited is has reached or not. Yes, collaboration and interaction goes between the program coordinator and the accounts and all. So ये तो
Oh,
करना
yes, sir. We
Hmm.
do collaborate, we do work like that, but sometimes because we're just one accounts department, sometimes we don't have the file with us and we're
Okay,
about to
okay,
give to
madam, for that sometime we can, exception can be handled.
Okay.
Exceptions can be handled, but it cannot be generalized.
No,
Okay.
I'm just saying if provision is there for the accounts to enter also the sanction order for activity, it'll be easier. Like I'm just
No,
saying.
no, madam, you
Sir,
see,
can I come in, please?
yeah, somebody needs to say, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so, I just want to clarify on this. Melissa, this is what we have talked about, where this can also go to the account section. And from the institute, we are going to decide who will look into this. So therefore, some time will be needed so that accounts also will know, and also the program coordinator.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Fleming, you can carry on
Yes,
further.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you. So yes, I hope that answers the question. So I have added two more activities here: workshop number 1 and
Sir,
workshop
can
number.
you tell me, like, if we can change the order or we can add one activity in between?
Actually, sir, we will not be able to, for the time being, we can't re-drag it or anything. But you can, let's say that activity number 1. However, you want to conduct the last activity first. You can absolutely do that. But for the time being, there is no way of re-dragging it, rearranging it, or reordering it. But that should be fine on a technical level, because the budget is still reflected month-wise. So I add two more workshops, and then I go down, and then I just click on update program. Now it has successfully been updated. I go to report, and I go to activity completion report and try to navigate to my program. As you can see, two new activities that I have just added, it is showing right now. Now, once again, assuming the added extra activities are approved by the competent authority, you are free to add as many number of activities as possible. Now,
Another question,
yes, sir.
Yeah, just go ahead.
Yeah, ma'am, you just said that with the approval of competent authority, suppose if some user is just creating the activity, and because it is not, there is no provision to upload any approval letter or anything, no. So you can create the activity, and then finally it will create a mess for the other person also if someone is going to fill the budget, say accountant or someone else. So I mean, how it can be handled in that case? Like if it is just the activity just getting added by the user and by the coordinator without any approval.
Yes, sir. Sir, to answer your question, yes, we do not have an internal self-check mechanism to approve, because as you might be aware, there is no way that we can actually verify this. The reason why we have given the liberty of adding more activities to program coordinators is because since we have been working on the portal for a while right now, we have observed that coordinators, by large, a very good amount of coordinators, number of coordinators actually do conduct more activities than what is proposed by the PSC. Let's say that in the PSC, sometimes it's written workshops for the vetting and finalization of textbooks. However, how many workshops exactly is not given. So in that cases, we leave it up to the coordinator to fill it. Now, I would probably recommend it to be an internal matter of discussion. That is, individually, please kindly ensure that not many unnecessary activities are added, because obviously, if you the more activities you add, the more blank it shows. So I would probably recommend the instead of doing it together. So right now I have added two workshops. Instead of doing that, perhaps you can conduct an activity, you have a process for it, you have a sanction for it, you have approval for it. Once the particular activity is conducted, you can always enter that specific activity, you can add that specific activity, and then fill the ACR. I think that would be a better mechanism.
Sir, may I come in, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sir,
I
have one
just
more
need a
query.
who's that? I think you put this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, ma'am. Yeah, I have one query here. Sir, here under activities proposed,
Mhm.
all the rows are filled from PMD side.
Mhm.
And if we wanted to change these activities, is it possible, sir?
No, I am sorry. Once again, the edit access largely remains with the Yojana portal. Once you have added, just say, once I added these two activities, I will not be able to remove them. However, in cases, once again, in certain cases where, for whatever reason, perhaps budget constraints, time constraints, you were unable to do an activity, you can either let it be, or in case you want an activity specifically to be deleted, kindly send an official email to PMD saying this activity needs to be removed so that we can do it from our end.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, I cannot change the name also, because here in my proposal, just in a program, I was seeing that some are repeated and it was not there also.
Mhm.
So review of literature is that it is repeated twice, 1 and 2, and data collection is there 3 and 4 again, and tool development is there in the cell number 6.
Yes, sir.
So
Sir, if you please look at the screen, I can change the name. I can change the name to hello test, and then I can
Okay.
update it, and then I can change
Okay.
the name. See, sir,
Okay.
hello test has been updated. You will just not be able to remove it. You can change the name of the activity.
Okay, I can change the name.
Yes,
Okay.
you can change the name, sir.
Okay. There's a here, it is given many activities under this. So this much activity will not be required.
Mhm.
So no provision to remove this, right, sir?
So once again, if you need any particular activity removed, I would please request you to send an official email ID to PMD asking for removal.
Okay.
But no, you will not be able to change it.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. So yes,
I just need a clarification on this. For the activities, these activities will be based as per the approved programs, the PAC programs, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So only in certain circumstances that we can change. Otherwise,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
should strictly adhere to whatever
Exactly.
has been approved, right?
Exactly, ma'am. So that
Alright.
is why I said the example. So in
Huh.
certain cases, in the PSC agenda as well, a lot of coordinators have only given a very generic activity. That is workshops plural, for the finalization or vetting of textbooks.
Acha.
But they haven't specified how many workshops they're going to conduct.
Yes.
So in those cases, you can always add workshop number 1, workshop number 2, 3, 4, 5, as such.
Okay, all right. But suppose if we have specified in the PAC proposal and with the one which has been approved that there are only 3 workshops, can I do another 4th workshop?
Assuming it is approved, exactly, you can add, ma'am. You can add.
Okay, but then all right. which means we can. Yeah.
Yes, if it
Oh,
is
all right,
approved
thank
by
you.
the competent authority, you can
Yeah.
add it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So I hope. So I'm just going to go back. Before I proceed any further, I'm just going to talk about a very specific use case. Workshop number 1 and workshop. I think someone's mic is on. I would please request them to mute themselves. Thank you so much. Yes. So workshop number 1 and 2. So I've added 2 different workshops right now, and then filling it is also the same process. It's the same exact process. Now let's talk about a certain situation where both the workshop number 1 and 2 came from the same sanction. Let's assume that a single sanction was given, a single sanction of, let's say, 5 lakh rupees was given to you to conduct 2 different workshops. And now, once again, this is not a hypothetical scenario. This is a very real scenario that a lot of users also face, an issue that a lot of users face. That is, multiple activities are conducted under the same sanction amount and sanction number. In that case, I'm just going to fill the workshop number 1 as a demo. I fill the activity details, everything is as it is, and budget details. Of course, I have a 5 lakh sanction to conduct 2 workshops. I put my sanction number here, and then I know the sanction date as well. I have put it. And now the sanction amount is, of course, 5 lakhs. And then I fill it everything as it is. I fill everything properly, and that is fine. The very first activity is fine. And I submitted it. However, there's a slight technicality. That is, if you notice, like I said, workshop number 1 and 2 carry the same sanction number and sanction amount of 5 lakhs. Now I have already entered 5 lakhs in workshop number 1. Now, if I want to fill the ACR of workshop number 2, it is asking me for the budget sanction number and details again. Of course, I will put the same budget sanction amount number, and I am going to put the same date. However, in the budget sanctioned amount, if I put 5 lakhs here as well, the problem is that you have already put 5 lakh in the other activity. If you add 5 lakhs here as well, there will be a duplication. So my request to everyone would be that in certain cases where multiple activities are done under the same sanction, I would request you only put the amount in one of the activities, and then in rest of the activities, put it as 0. And then continue to fill all the numbers as it is. Now, once again, since our priority is better budget tracking, we have already put the sanction amount of 5 lakh once, and then we are going to put the breakup of different activities in the amount utilized section in different activity column as well. So finally, in the portal, it will be tallied. However, if you are putting 5 lakhs every time in every activity, the budget will be doubled, tripled, and it will be reduplicated. So please keep in mind when you're filling that specific part. Now I am done with the ACR part of the Yojana portal. Now I would like to ask you, do we have any questions about pertaining specifically to ACR? I can see no responses, so I am just good.
Yeah. Hello, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Fleming, sir. Yes,
Yes, sir.
regarding this, we don't have a complete